super big celebrity, and everyone is rooting for him, and yeah, it's fantastic.
We are going to get closer on this Hikaru against Min Lei game that looks to be an excellent one. I just wanted to finish up with one point. It's also to really all those people out there who's been following chess for years and might get a little frustrated with the very broad approach that, for example, Take does some of their broadcasts. This is really an attempt to try to reach that kind of viewership all over the world. And Adrian, like when you turn into a chess broadcast now, you also expect to be entertained, not just follow the games, right?
Yeah, you expect to be entertained, and these days, I mean, as Askild said, like the last 10, 15 years, I've been like witnessing the chess boom here in Norway, and I remember 2013 was the first time we got chess on TV with NRK showing Magnus's first World Championship match, and it just exploded since then. It's been so fun to see, and now we see people on the bus and the train playing chess. It's very cool.
In this round 5, we have a German showdown with Bluebam against Svanot. We're following the Vietnamese Min Lei against Hikaru, and is he in trouble, like the evaluation bar says?
I wouldn't say he's in trouble yet. It's the theme of the day, the opening of the day, the kid, the King's Indian defense. It always seems to be this pawn structure against White's strong center. And the evaluation bar, the computers tend to prefer White, at least in the early stages. Hikaru is trying to trade off his dark squared bishop, which would have otherwise been a bit stuck. White's castled the long way, so it's going to be interesting to see whether Hikaru can whip up anything against White's king, and maybe long-term White will try and do something against Hikaru's king. I'm going to say for now it's balanced, and there we go. Even better for Black. The computer's changed its mind.
Hikaru has tons of experience in this opening. The King's Indian is an opening he's played for his whole life almost, I would say. So it really suits his style, and especially in Blitz, he can make his moves really fast. I think h4 is a great move by White, trying to get the attack going. Maybe the move King to h8 was a bit strange, kind of inviting h4, h5. Now Hikaru captures a pawn, but it looks very dangerous to open the h-file, David.
Feels super dangerous, even long term. Like, okay, maybe there was something stronger there than bringing the knight forward, but yeah, this is big risk-taking from Hikaru Nakamura. And in that position, it looked like there were actually tactics that White could have landed immediately, including stopping the bishop from coming back to the g5 square. That would have been very, very strong, just moving the White queen. But yeah, this looks very, very dangerous for Hikaru, although the computer now thinks it's better for him. I guess he can just defend passively and hold on to his extra pawn.
One other game that I find extremely exciting right now is the candidate Andrei Yesipenko playing against Jan Krzysztof Duda. Yesipenko with the white pieces. That's something we could keep an eye on while this is going on as well.
Yeah, we'll come to that game maybe a bit later. In the meantime, Min Lei has stacked up his rooks.
Looks like Hikaru has found a pretty good defensive construction here with the pawn on f6 and rook on f7. The problem for White is that it's difficult to activate your knights. Like, it's very tough to improve your knights to attack something. So like White allowing that defensive mechanism seems to have been a big mistake. Now Hikaru seems to be comfortable.
Yeah, maybe he's playing the King's Indian defense, just like you said earlier, Arian, in honor of the fact that he had a kid just recently as well.
Everyone has a kid these days.
Exactly. Everyone has a kid. Everyone's playing the kid.
Speaking of a father, Magnus Carlsen is playing against Yavakadze from Georgia.
Magnus will be aiming to get back on the winning trail. He did it last week. He was a point behind the pack for a long time, but stormed into the lead when it mattered.
So Min Lei is a very strong blitz player from Vietnam. He's been known in the chess world for many years, mostly for his blitz skills. He doesn't play too much classical. However, last year he played in an Olympiad and he had amazing result. I think he had a 2800 performance on the third board. Probably won a medal as well. So he can play classical as well. Yeah. I actually lost to him in that tournament. Yeah. I know he won against England as well.
Yeah, I wasn't playing that day. They rested me. So.
And he's also an expert hair braider, right?
Yeah, the twiddler. Twiddler on the roof. And,
you're strong today, David. I got to give it to you.
Thank you. Yeah, he's been known as a blitz specialist and a hair twiddler for many, many years. And I've watched some of his streams, and he'll be silent for ages and then suddenly explode into life and just start criticizing what he just did. Normally he's very harsh on his own play. And I don't know, he's a pawn down still with white, but it's hard to see what Hikaru is doing in the near future. Both sides are lacking pawn breaks. That is the major issue. And okay, we're seeing that maybe Min Lei is the one turning things in his favor. At some point he could win the pawn back. He could maybe go for the black A pawn.
In what are 3 very exciting matchups? It seems Sevion has an advantage against Tirana, Yesipenko has an advantage against Dura, and Shong has an advantage against Tabatabai.
It's a big question for white here. Do you take the pawn on a3 and give up the b4 pawn or defend it? He decides to trade those pawns. And now the rook on b4 looks oddly placed, but at the same time, it's definitely not trapped as it can go to the a4 square.
Yeah, I'm really surprised. Like that white b4 pawn would have at least kept the black knights out of some key squares for later. So now if the black rook does survive and get out, then at least the black knights have activity and outposts. This could be really, really bad news for Min Lei.
This is a bit of a classical scenario where I would say the knight is stronger than the bishop. And the reason for that is that if you have the pawns on the same color as your bishop, that usually benefits your opponent because you kind of take away the squares from your own bishop. And here it would be better to have a dark squared bishop while the position is rather close and knights usually stronger in close positions, as I would say is the case here.
And also a perfect square for the knight outpost on c5, which you can never kick away.
Yeah,
The
but
white-colored bishop.
both c5 and b6 are nice squares for the knight. And here, I think black is, yeah, exactly, rook f8, rook a8. Finally time to... That rook has not been in the game for ages, but now it's finally coming to life.
Just want to remind everyone that Witty Alien is also streaming today, and the reason why I mentioned that is because he's in the Dave cave here in the studio, and we can hear him screaming from the other room, so there must be excitement going on in his games.
There's literally 2 walls between us and maybe 10 meters between us, but we can still hear him screaming. And yeah, I'm just hoping he doesn't throw my mouse again.
I mean, I feel like there is no exciting going on, nothing exciting going on in his game. Always something.
In the meantime...
Go figure with those gambits that he plays, right?
Yeah, not for the faint-hearted. There should be like a blood pressure warning attached to those games. But okay, Hikaru finally makes his move and breaks out. The King's Indian move, the f5 has hit, and Hikaru closes it again. But now at least he has another open file for his rooks, for his pieces. Any endgame, any queen exchange will just be winning.
There's almost knight takes d5 becomes tempting here, but he goes rook g8, tries to occupy the only open file in the position. The problem for white here is that if you try to play a move like rook to g1, then suddenly the black knight can come to c3. So you're kind of running into trouble on both flanks.
Yeah, he's entered Hikaru. He's now in the white camp. The black queen can come down to the first rank at some point. There we go. The black rook is always ready to come in if given the opportunity to somewhere on the g file. Maybe even slow play it, move the queen out the way, use the rook and come fully behind. And sooner or later it should end in checkmate.
Shong wins, and Sevion wins, and Vacher de Grave is about to win.
Wow, the Grave giving up his queen in that game.
Yeah, but he has about a million officers in compensation.
Exactly. And oh, Hikaru wins the white queen. That is a knight fork. Rook takes knight would have been met by the black rook coming down, and that would have been a deadly pin. Hikaru making it look smooth.
It's a very nice